bright student, loving family man, professor who adored children, all emotive labels to describe people. But should stories of terror begin with sympathy and humanizing descriptors instead of evidence? This is not a Ghisa-Pita script, but another affirmation of how every time an Islamic extremist is arrested, applies for bail, charges are framed against him or her, the narrative starts from emotion, not fact. We've already seen mainstream media do this charade for years, and it continues. But now, many legal newsrooms, the ones that claim to report dispassionately on court orders, have begun to participate in this quiet sanitization of Islamic extremism. Consider the recent case of Syed Mamoor Ali, accused of being part of an ISIS-inspired module busted by the National Investigation Agency in Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. The Supreme Court denied him bail. Justices Vikram Nath and Sandeep Mehta noted the recovery of inflammatory material, ISIS-style pamphlets, and jihadist propaganda from his possession. They even said in court, preparation is an offence under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, which is the UAPA. But a stray courtroom remark was made, the headline twisted. Heinous allegations absolved with pictures of a man in handcuffs, when the real issue is terror allegations. A textbook case of visual framing. Headline, the best morning to send a message. A reference to the Delhi blast that had occurred a day earlier before the court hearing. That single stray remark by the court, not the ISIS links, not the radical network, not the digital evidence that led to his arrest. You see, the point is, when you reduce a terror-linked case to a courtroom quip, you erase the context. The judiciary carefully recorded. Because if you actually read the Madhya Pradesh High Court order that was under challenge, it tells a very different story. It is the order in which the bail was rejected as well. It details how Ali and his co-accused were radicalized during the lockdown while consuming extremist material, watching Zakir Naik videos, and forming a group that discussed global enforcement of Sharia law. The court had then observed that terrorism based on religion arises from hateful thoughts. Physical assistance is secondary. Now, none of this made it to the so-called legal reports. If that's not all, the moment you expose Islamist ideology, the ecosystem cries bias. So instead of reporting evidence, it reports emotion. And now, with legal news taking center stage, it is not an isolated pattern. We've seen it with Umar Khalid, Sharjeel Imam, and several Delhi 2020 riots accused. All charged under stringent laws, yet repeatedly described as students, activists, scholars. Their cases are chronicled like intellectual biographies, not legal proceedings. If an accused can quote Ambedkar and speak fluent English, the framing automatically shifts from culpability to compassion. The man shouting Islamic slogans in a riot becomes a student activist. The man saying Jai Shri Ram, even as a complainant, becomes a mob sympathizer. That is the selective morality of India's left commentariat. Take another example. Dr. Umair Nabi, a doctor from Pulwama, working at Al-Faha Hospital in Mewat, was arrested for alleged terror links. A national daily profiled him almost entirely through his family's eyes. How polite he was, how he loved children, how shocked they were. Not a single line about the evidence or the investigation. Contrast this with a Hindu person accused of anything. And I mean anything. He's a mob sympathizer. Why has the Islamic extremist become the media's darling? Because today, the left is not merely an ideology. It is a brand polished in drawing rooms where religion is mocked and moral outrage is curated like art. In this world, the articulate Islamist, the English-speaking activist, the gentle doctor fits the aesthetic of civility. The man in saffron does not. He's too raw, too loud, too local. And so the narrative must be inverted. Refinement equals righteousness. The Islamic left has mastered the art of appearing sophisticated while defending radicalism. By controlling language, it controls empathy. And by controlling empathy, it controls perceptions. That is why stories of terror are written as tragedies. And court orders denying bail are framed as overreach. So the next time you read a story that portrays a terror accused as a misunderstood victim, pause. Ask, what was omitted? What evidence didn't make it to the copy or the headline? What truth was traded for tone? Facts are buried under selective reporting in moral choreography. On top of that, legal journalism starts hiding facts to protect ideology, then it stops being journalism. It becomes propaganda. In the language of law now, true transparency doesn't protect extremists. It protects citizens from them.